What's up, world? Let me tell you about this beard growth oil I got from 12 tribes on Earth. 8 ounces of oily goodness with a nozzle that prevents sprays and spills, and soft ingredients that make it perfect addition to anyone's morning routine. From coconut to castor, all these oils are hand chosen. After using this herbal blend, the biggest thing I noticed is how soft, how strong my hair was, and how good I feel. Pick up your bottle today and make your beard the star of the show.
Shalom, family. Good to see you all here. Hope you're doing well. A shout out to Adrian Thomas for this story. Ladies and gentlemen, Donald Trump is completely giving farmers here in the U.S. the finger, and he is prioritizing Argentina over them. So he's already made a deal to get, I think, 300 million pounds of beef from Argentina. And do you know China rejected and would not take Argentina beef? Says it had too many chemicals and stuff mixed in it, carcinogens. I can't say the word. Well, anyway, they rejected Argentina's meat, you know, and there's countries that won't even accept their meat, but Donald Trump is accepting it. He's like, they need help. I didn't know that was our responsibility to help Argentina, but this is what he's saying. And it has angered a lot of farmers that he won't even get cattle from US farmers. He said it's too expensive. So they feel screwed over. But you know what? You know why I think so many of them are upset with Donald Trump? Just his people in general. I think they are having a hard time believing that Donald Trump would screw them over. But he would, and he already has. He already has. And I think they are having a difficult time with that. But as for the farmers, y'all overwhelmingly went out and voted for Donald Trump. You know, you had a workforce of immigrants and you voted against your own best interests. And many of you are still struggling to get people on those farms to work, and you had the people, but you voted with Donald Trump, and he had all those ICE raids on farms, and you lost all your workers. Then some of y'all, because I was keeping up with the news, lost your whole crop because you didn't have anybody that could work the land. And be honest, y'all can't work the land because if you go out there for all those hours, those brown people were working, y'all will burn up and die. And you know it. That's why y'all, this time from chattel slavery all the way up until now, that's why y'all avoid being out there working in the sun. You are not physically capable of staying out there from sun up to sundown without you losing your life from skin cancer. And that is the truth. That's why you didn't do it then and you don't do it now. So, anyway, y'all, let's get started. Let me share my screen. Yeah, Donald Trump is more concerned about Argentina than the farmers here. And yes, they are upset. You know, Argentina, the land of the Nazis. Yeah, that's what Donald Trump is concerned about. And you'll hear it in the videos. Give me a one if you can see my screen. Thank you. Thank you.
Question is, what do you have to say to U.S. farmers who feel that the deal is benefiting Argentina more than it is them, they are
Argentina is fighting for its life, young lady. You don't know anything about it. They're fighting for their life. Nothing's benefiting Argentina. They're fighting for their life. You understand what that means? They have no money. They have no anything. They're fighting so hard to survive. If I can help them survive in a free world, I happen to like the president of Argentina. I think he's trying to do the best he can. But don't make it sound like they're doing great. They are dying.
Well, maybe that's judgment for all the racism that comes out of Argentina. They got all that mouth and all that racism and all that, right? And they have the nerve to be a bunch of racists. Okay, so the country is falling apart and it's filled with racists. And this is who Donald Trump cares about. And at the end of the day, I didn't know Argentina was our responsibility. Okay, when did they become our responsibility? So he is sitting there concerning himself with them, and he has completely turned his back on the farmers here. I will vote for Donald Trump. I will vote for Donald Trump. You got exactly what you deserve. And you remember, farmers, you were at those rallies when that Miami group was there singing that song to you, and y'all were just happy to be there and happy to vote for Donald Trump. But he said they're dying. They need help. Well, what's wrong with the other South American countries that are right there with them? Why can't they help them? You know why? Because I don't think those other countries like Argentina. I really think they got an issue with a lot of people not liking them. So if they don't like them, they're not going to care about their survival. But just look at their overall history, y'all. What they did during slavery and then getting rid of their melanated population and all of that, right? And think about what Donald Trump is saying about them. Is that judgment or what? Let's get back to it.
All right, they're dying.
The Trump administration's plan to import beef from Argentina, it's already drawn some heavy criticism. I'd like to hear your thoughts on that, farmers and lawmakers alike. Will, you're a cattle farmer. Tell us what you plan to do for your business and how this is going to be impacting you. Will, I'll give this to you.
Prior to 2015, the USDA changed their rule on country of origin labeling. Prior to that, the animal had to be born, raised, and slaughtered in one of the 50 states to be product of USA. In 2015, the rule was changed so that if value was added in the United States, it could be marked product of the USA. And that opened the door for countless tons of really lean beef to be brought into this country to mix with the 50% fat ratio beef that comes from the feedlot industry. And it brought down the price of beef, and it allowed packers to make a lot of money on the consumer's dollar. We support mandatory country of origin labeling, which means packers can bring in as much beef as they want to from other countries, but it needs to be labeled product of the USA or product of Argentina or product of Brazil or wherever it came from.
Well, you guys are the backbone of this economy in a lot of ways. It's a national security concern if we can't feed our population. So that's one of the reasons we always like to tip our hats, no pun intended, here at News Nation to our farmers. I also recently interviewed 2 restaurateurs in California about how they're being impacted by these beef prices going up. They're saying they're having to get really creative with what's on the menu. Take a listen.
What we're trying to do is maybe trying to use other cuts of meat, chicken and pork, but, we're very beef centric, and the demand for beef has not gone down in the United States. As a matter of fact, it's probably gone up.
Families are gathering to grab a nice bite for dinner. It's hard to say, you've got a $42, plate for dinner. You've got a $50 steak on the table. It can be a real challenge, even in a healthy economic environment.
Yeah, and we're hearing that restaurants are starting to, decrease portion sizes and things like that to try to keep the cost down. You can't charge $75 in most places like you might be able to garner in Vegas. Will, I'll stick with you on this when you're stuck in the middle of it raising cattle. What do you think can be done to get herd numbers up and prices back down?
Well, beef is higher than it's been since 1950. And it's because cattle farmers have not gone back into the business. It's historically been very cyclical, up and down over about an 8-year period. I want to see all Americans able to eat as much beef as they want to. I think it's very nutritious. I think it's good. I think it's healthy. And I want lower income people to be able to eat as much beef as they want or need. And so bringing in cheaper beef does not bother me, but I do want people to be able to know what they're getting. Some people choose to not eat 2 inedible products, ultra lean imported beef from Argentina, added to 50% fat from the feedlot industry. That's I'm not saying it's unhealthy, but some people might choose to eat something different, and I want the label to allow people to understand what it is they're consuming.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense. I want to know what's going in my mouth and my children's mouths. It definitely makes sense. John, look, both of you guys are 4th and 5th generation farmers. We know that the buying and selling relationships go back generations sometimes too. John, how has all of this uncertainty been impacting you, and how do you think it's going to impact you going forward?
Well, first of all, I know everybody's eating their breakfast right now, and it's very important for the average American consumer to know that only 15 cents of the dollar that they spend goes back to me and to Will, the ranchers out there. And it's really a big agribusiness, and the packers who are really getting the most of the money. And that's why I really support Will through regenerative practices and what he's doing. He's really a great blueprint for America right now of trying to not only just rejuvenate the soil, but rejuvenate the pocketbooks of the American farmer and rancher. And he's a testament, and I really appreciate him being here today. But we've got some real problems in rural America right now with profitability, and bankruptcies are up. American factory workers are being laid off. And unfortunately, due to this administration's inactivity, they've caused a big problem, and we're going to be dealing with this for generations to come.
Everybody's wound up today because Trump says we're going to import all this beef from Argentina. We're going to lower our beef prices because the beef's too expensive here. And I thought I'd throw my 2 cents in. First of all, it's not really a new thing to import beef. We've imported beef in this country for a long time. What is new, however, is the government getting involved because of the prices and saying the beef prices are too high. We're going to make a deal. We're going to buy a bunch of beef from Argentina, and we're going to undercut the American farmers and ranchers who are finally making some decent money. And that's just, it's a socialist mindset, if you ask me. That's not what I've grown up thinking as an American market, supply and demand. Where did that go?
Hey, good morning, guys. Sean here. I'm not sure about the rest of you, but as a cattle farmer, cattle producer, or cattle rancher, whatever title you want to give us, I can't believe that President Trump and Secretary Rollins just kicked us in the teeth yesterday by saying that they're going to import foreign beef here into the United States. This plan that he's actually talking about, you can go and look for yourself. The Cattlemen Association at the national level, every state is coming out totally against it. And it's 100% because it's not going to have any real effect on prices of beef in the grocery store. The reality of it is the packers control everything. Until we address the 4 packers and how they control everything, we're doing absolutely nothing. Mr. President, your decision is going to run ranchers like myself and others. We don't make any difference. We big or small. You're going to run us out of business, and we will never, ever be able to rebuild the herd. Right now, as everyone knows, the herd is the smallest it's ever been. But with this action for the next 90 days, what it's doing is pushing down the price of beef that we sell to the sale barn that ultimately goes to your table. This action that the president is doing is not doing anything to help the American people. He thinks it is. I wish he would listen to the Cattlemen Association and others that understand agriculture, because the reality of it is right now, what this is happening to us is straight up bush. There's no other way to do it. So I just want to clearly put out there, I'm totally against it. I'm going to fight every day for our farmers, fight every day for our ranchers, because somebody got to get to DC that understand agriculture and going to stand with agriculture. Because right now, if we continue on this path, we're going to run agriculture and run cattlemen completely out of business. Guys, thank you for all your support. Look forward to talking to you out there on the trail. But this, I couldn't even sleep last night. I'm just out here this morning checking on the cows, but I couldn't believe that the president would actually do this. So with that, I'll see you. I got it off my chest. I look forward to seeing you somewhere today and tomorrow and the future days out. But for the next 90 days, I think it's going to run some of our cattle producers out of business.
I love that this story just keeps getting better and better. So U.S. farmers are getting fucked over because Donald Trump is importing a whole bunch of beef from his buddies in Argentina. But the story gets even funnier when we find out that China rejected 22 tons of Argentinian beef because it was full of carcinogens and antibiotics that are illegal to inject into animals in China. So China rejects 22 tons of Trump's friend's Argentinian beef just at the same time that Trump opens the door for 300,000 tons of beef from Argentina to come into the U.S. But the absolute cherry on top of the story is that the FDA has now recalled over 30,000 pounds of Argentinian beef that came into Texas and Florida because it came into this country without passing any of the normal inspections that it's supposed to. So young MAGA, eat up. This is what you're voted for. And in unrelated news, the Trump administration has rounded up 73,000 wild horses and sent them to slaughter. Wonder where they're going to end up.
So let me get this straight. So Trump is going to be bringing in 300,000 or 400,000 pounds of beef from what he said was Argentina, and he's going to take the tariffs off that beef to help reduce the prices of the beef here in America. But wasn't that the same guy that said tariffs aren't the reason all the prices are going up? I don't know. Are we sure we're getting that from Argentina? And not a bunch of Mustangs out of the Southwest? Boy, I hope that's not it. But the tariffs don't raise prices. But the beef will be cheaper because there will be no tariffs. Ha! Genius! I wish Scott Bessent was here to explain this all to us.
Scott Besson, you mean the billionaire that's terrible at articulating himself? That one. So anyway, y'all, when I saw that China rejected it and said it had all kinds of crap injected into the meat, and it didn't pass inspection in Texas and Florida because of because of the stuff that is in the Argentina. No, I don't want that shit. I might have to go beef free, y'all. I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want that beef. And Donald Trump is like, well, we got to help him out. I ain't got to help no damn body out in Argentina. Okay, they sure as hell have never helped my ass out. I ain't got to help them out. Let them fall. Maybe that is the will. Maybe you are disturbing the will of the Heavenly Father, Donald Trump. Let them go ahead and fall. I don't care about it. You can't stop them from failing. Obviously, they are just like the rest of y'all, bad at leading a country. That's why they are falling apart, because all of y'all, at the end of the day, y'all can't run shit. That's what it's all about. So, ladies and gentlemen, look like I may have to skip over the beef. I'm not putting that stuff in my body. No. I don't trust them folks anyway. When you two over the top racist, I wouldn't even trust them to give me a damn tomato, y'all. I probably wouldn't eat the tomato. I ain't eating nothing from no Argentina. So, y'all, thank you for being here. Thank you for your support. Don't forget to pick up your hair products, and I will see you on my next live. Y'all have a wonderful night. Shalom, family.